Hi everyone. In last week's video, we talked a little bit about industrial recruitment and how that process works, what our role in it, and how that is probably the most well-known part of economic development, but it's also the most expensive and the most time-consuming. So today we're going to talk about something that is much less expensive, but has a pretty profound impact on the local economy, and that's something we call business retention and expansion. This is one of the other main pillars of our work in economic development. And this focuses on our existing businesses and our relationship with them and how we can support them in both sustaining their current business and in hopefully growing. So business retention and expansion is critical because while the industrial recruitment projects are, again, where you get that big influx of new jobs and investment at one time, these are pre-COVID numbers. I don't have the most updated statistics, but on average in Kentucky, about 67% of new jobs that are created in a year come from the growth of an existing business rather than the entrance of a new business into the community. And actually, about another 30% comes from entrepreneurial development. So, relatively small percent of new jobs actually comes from those industrial projects. What business retention and expansion is a set of strategies that we pursue to help us learn more about our businesses and what your needs are so that we can help advocate for you in the community. And that's particularly with elected officials, with other businesses, to address those needs. Now, we tend to have a couple of ways of doing this, and that is surveys and site visits and other kinds of meetings and conversations that allow us to collect that data and build that relationship with our existing businesses. And the data collection is really critical because what collecting this data allows us to do is build evidence that multiple businesses have a need, and it's that evidence that puts us in the best position to advocate for your needs. This is where we have our closest relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, where our work really does overlap. They are similarly there to advocate for the needs of existing business. We take more of a support role in helping the chamber do that. So a recent example of us working with a business for a potential expansion and communicating with them to learn about their needs is with the Eleanor Beard Studio, or the company's called Leontine Linens. So in meeting with them several times and visiting them on site, we realized that they had a space issue and were looking to expand, and then helped them locate some additional space. And they have now moved into a second building. And because they've moved to a second building, are going to be able to not only hire more people, but therefore do more jobs and make more money. And without us making the efforts to go and meet with them, to visit them on site, and to learn what their needs were, we would not have been able to look for that space for them or to know what they needed. That's one example of something that we have done recently that fits into this BR&E mold. Another beneficial thing about business retention and expansion work, which we call BR&E for short, a little bit less of a mouthful, is that in communicating with our local businesses and learning about your needs and collecting that data, we can also spot leaks or kind of holes in our economy and see where there are goods or services that lots of people maybe need or may be beneficial to your business to have that we don't have here in the community. And that can help guide our work in recruiting or helping to develop a new business to meet that need. So that's another very beneficial aspect of that data collection. So throughout the year, I know you hear us often pushing surveys and coming around to see your businesses. And sometimes we ask questions that are kind of scary, difficult to answer. But this is why. It's because this business retention and expansion portion of our work, this particular set of strategies, something that we are using to try to best advocate for your needs in the community. So that's a quick recap of BR&E, and we will be back next week to discuss entrepreneurship. So thank you all.